This evening is a series of the secrets of the Talmud. Never miss an opportunity to change the world. Now we are going to talk about something very interesting here tonight. And in my opinion, it is mind-boggling. So, first of all, there were secrets that were concealed. And you could see over here, in the source sheet, in Yoma. It says there, the following, it is about the families and individuals who concealed secrets concerning the temple. Okay, so who wants to read the first source?
I can do it.
Go ahead.
And these were the mention to the shame. Is it day? Yeah? Is this a day?
Yeah.
That's cut off. They of the house of Talmud would not teach anything about the preparation of Natan, showbread. They of the house of Aptinas would not teach anything about the preparation of the Kotler, incense. Hegros, son of the tribe of Levi, knew cadence and song, but would not teach it. And Kamsa would not teach anyone his art of writing. The Mishnah says, concerning the former it is said, the memory of the righteous shall be for a blessing. Concerning the others it is said, the name of the wicked shall rot.
Okay, thanks. Now the Mishnah is you're talking about all kinds of secrets that have been concealed. Now, why do you think they concealed these secrets? Why didn't they want to share them with others?
Gives them leverage, also what's called status and power, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Knowledge is power, yes.
So one thing I heard about the incense one, the Aptinas family, they didn't want people using it in vain.
That's right.
So they didn't teach anyone, so it won't be used in vain.
Okay, great. Thank you. That is very important what you said. So, if we skip over here to a source 3, okay? Who wants to read a source 3? Okay.
In our father's house, they knew that this house will be destroyed. And perhaps the unworthy man will learn it and then proceed to serve an idol with it.
Okay, great. So the house of Aptinas, for example, who knew the secret of Ketoret, they didn't want to reveal the secrets because they were concerned that when the temple would be destroyed, the Gentiles would use it for sake of idolatry. Okay? However, it says in the Mishnah that some of them were criticized. Now, who do you think was criticized here? It seems like it's a good reason, right? So, which of these individuals mentioned in the Mishnah do you think was criticized?
I think those who kept the secret for themselves.
So, all of them kept the secret for themselves, but some of them, they are considered to be the memory of a righteous shall be of a blessing, but others were criticized. So let's see who was criticized. So look please at the tractate of Yoma, source 5. Okay? Who wants to read it? Thanks.
Yoma. They, the sages, said to Ben Kamsar, what reason have you for refusing to teach it? All found an answer to their matter. Ben Kamsar could not find one. Concerning all former ones it is said, the memory of the righteous shall be for a blessing. With regard to Ben Kamzar and his like, it is said, but the name of the wicked shall rot.
Thank you. So, all of these individuals mentioned in the Mishnah, Haptinas, Haigos, and others, they weren't criticized, they were blessed. But Bar Kamzal, he was criticized, and the question is why. Okay, so if you could turn the page, please. Okay, to the second side. We have to try and understand what was exactly Baal Kamzal's talent, and perhaps through this we could understand why he specifically was criticized. And there is a great a understanding, a life-changing understanding that we are going to learn from the story of Baal Kamzal. So, who wants to read source 6?
Yoma Ibid, our sages taught Ben Kamzar would not teach anything about his art of writing. It was said about him that he would take 4 pens between his fingers, and then there was a word or 4 letters of a pen he would write it at once.
Okay, thanks. So, this is something extraordinary. He was able to take 4 quills. He used to put them between his fingers, and he was able to write 4 different letters at once. It seems extraordinary, right? How is this possible? Is anyone able to do such a thing?
He's trained. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, obviously.
Quite tricky, right? So, why did he do this? Why was it so important? So, first of all, it's important to know that when writing Hashem's name in a Torah scroll, it is very important to write it without interference. So, Baal Kamzal invented a special system to write Hashem's name without stopping, writing it at once. So, when the sages asked him why he wasn't willing to share his knowledge to others, he couldn't answer. So, the other individuals who were mentioned in the Mishnah, they were able to answer. And the answer was that they didn't want pagans to use their methods for idol worshipping, right? However, in the case of Baal Kamzal, there wasn't any fear that pagans might try to use any of his methods for idolatry. However, it seems that we could go deeper. Why he was singled out to be criticized. And I would like to suggest a beautiful explanation of a Maharatz Chayut, and he actually says something extraordinary. He says that Baal Kamzal, he actually invented the printing press. 1,500 years before Guten Tag. What? That's right. So he was able to Gutenberg, right? He was able to. He invented it. Now, who wants to read source 8 under the earliest invention of a printing press? Yeah.
Maharatz Chayat Responsa. Therefore, it is reasonable that Ben Kazmar's art of writing with the 4 quills was actually the invention of the printing press. He took 4 letters made out of lead and poured ink over them and stamped them on paper, such as printers do today. This is the only possible way to write with 4 quills 4 different letters at once. It is not necessary to mention that it was not a miracle, because the sages criticized Ben Kamzar. Therefore, these 4 quills were actually 4 shaped letters carved on 4 small columns of lead, and these were called quills.
Excellent. So why did the sages criticize about Kamsa? What do you think?
Maybe that he found like a cheap solution to write Hashem's name in such a short manner, which is like it takes less effort and less kavanah to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're writing it quicker, every letter counts. Every separate in Hashem's name. It's not followed until you have it to the end. Well, when you have the intent to name his full name, and you're in the middle and you know you're gonna finish it, I don't consider this an interruption. It's just like the way you write. Yeah.
I would say that speed is very valued in Judaism, and he found a way to do something fast, and he didn't share that with others, and that was a loss for the community.
Beautiful. So this is actually one of the reasons that Maharat Zachayut says. He first says that all the people of Israel are obligated to sanctify Hashem's name, like you said, by writing it at once. And he actually deprived them of that knowledge. And secondly, he would have revealed, if he would have revealed the secret, what would have happened, do you think? What do you think would have happened if the invention of a printing press would have been known 1,500 years before Gutenberg?
It would start the revolution that Gutenberg started.
That's right. And probably history would have been completely different. We are going to talk about the consequences soon, but
there will be no Sfardim versus Ashkenazim debate. They would have had to let precious to know that there was
they would make a lot more books. So maybe that
Yeah, what does Ashkenazim and Sephardim have to do with this at all?
Will the printer press help communicate with each other?
well, you could have the knowledge, right?
Knowledge gets a lot. So you can get knowledge a lot quicker, a lot cheaper, and see what happens. For example, in the Jewish world, more people that read, more yeshivas. The whole shas that we have in a room that wasn't normal to have so many books in one place, and that's a thing that came from the printing press.
That's right. The knowledge of the Torah would have been greater, and the wisdom of the Torah would have been reachable for everyone. Who wants to read source 9? He explains both of these aspects. You go ahead.
It is impossible to imagine a great benefit to the nation of Israel with the expanding of the knowledge of the Torah if they would have known the secrets of the printing press. See in Tractat Talmud about the greatest deeds of Chia, who hunted deer and prepared from its skin parchments, on which he wrote the Torah. Evermore, if the Torah could be printed in thousands of copies at once.
Thanks. So, let's try and imagine how the course of history would have been changed completely with the invention of a printing press already from the period of the Second Temple, 1,500 years before Gutenberg. We would have prevented the loss of priceless manuscripts of the Rishonim, which were burned during the burning of the Talmud, and many very, very important manuscripts we don't have today because that they were copied by hand, and they were lost for generations, for eternity actually.
Maybe also that Judaism as we know it would be a lot different.
That's right.
So because also the what would be from with the Romans, with the Christians, it would have an effect globally. Also the invention of the printing press. So maybe we would have a different kind of influence on the world than we have today.
That's right. The number one bestseller here today is the Tanakh, right? It's the Tanakh of the Bible. And you could find it everywhere. My cousin went to a semi-remote village in Africa, and he found a Tanakh there. And so even nations who were idol worshippers for 1,500 years, for many years, until the Christian missionaries went and they taught them the Bible, all of this could have been done much earlier. And this is something which the Maimonides says, that he says something very interesting. If you look at the source 12, he says in the Laws of Kings. Who wants to read it? Thanks.
Maimonides. Already the whole world was filled of the words of the Mashiach and the words of the Torah and the commandments. These words reached even remote islands and touched many savages. And they are discussing these words and the commandments of the Torah.
Thanks. So through the invention of a printing press, the words of Torah actually reached most of humanity. And all of this could have happened many years before, hundreds of years before. And he also writes something very interesting from Maharat Zechayut. He writes about the respect and honor that was lost from the nation of Israel because that Bar Kamsa refused to share his secret of the invention of a printing press. This is in source 10. Who wants to read 10? Thanks. Okay, go ahead.
Maharat Chayot. This invention had a potential to bring honor to the nation of Israel, to show all that surely a wise and discerning people is this great nation. There would not be any fear of danger if also the other nations would use this invention. In these matters, there should not be any stinginess. You learn much Torah, don't keep all the good to yourself. Rather share with others, and especially concerning useful inventions, which can bring huge benefits.
Thank you. So he concludes the reason that the sages criticized the Ben Kamsal, and you could see here in source 11, he did two bad things. Firstly, he deprived honor from the nation of Israel. Secondly, he deprived the whole world from the advantage of the invention of a printing press. So he actually had an opportunity to change the world, like Gutenberg did in 1439, and it is impossible to underestimate the effect of the invention of the printing press on the development of a world. We could think that numerous individuals could have learned reading and writing much earlier, and the power and knowledge was not the privilege of selected intellectuals, rather also of the masses. And as we said, the greatest advantage was that many learned the Tanakh from its original source, without being dependent on the intervention and commentary of the church. So we could see over here that the Baal Kamsal, who invented the printing press and kept it as a secret, he actually deprived all this knowledge. And he had the ability to change the world, the opportunity to change the world, and he did not do it. And it is important to know that everyone has a special talent, a special a special light that they could shine to the world that only they can do. And if one does not develop their character traits and does not share his knowledge with others, one actually deprives the world from all one's goodness that one could give. So therefore we could learn from here that one must share his knowledge with others, and his character traits, his abilities with everyone. And it says in the Pirkei Avot, Kol hashocheach davar mimishnato. Whoever forgets something from his Torah. So the Yechida says that everyone has got a special part of the Torah from Sinai, and if he is Yireh Shamayim, if he has the awe from heaven, so he is able to share his a great light, and nobody else can. Nobody else has got the same ability to bring that light. So, if one isn't going to develop his ideas and share them, so nobody is able to do so instead of him. So that is why one should never miss an opportunity to change the world. This is what we learn from the story of the Baal Kamsal.
I have a question. It's not necessary. It's not really related to the story. There's this expression in Hebrew nowadays, like to be a kamtzan.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
That's right.
To his name?
I think so. That the
stingy to share his idea?
Yes. I think so. Yes. The
Kamtzan or kamtsar? I'm not sure.
Kamtzan, but it is very similar. I also think so. Yeah.
How do you say miser?
That's right. I also think so. The famous Maharal of Prague, he talks a lot about the significance of names. For the names aren't something that happens by a coincidence. There is a deep meaning to someone's name. Yeah, so thank you for the beautiful insight. So a good evening, everyone.